Wow. Wow, wow, wow. England were extremely lucky. We are through to the quarterfinals of the FIFA Women's World Cup, but only after an appalling performance against Nigeria, and how lucky we were to get through that match. Nigeria are absolutely fantastic, and we'll come on to that in a second, but England was so poor. Let's break this one down. So England have gone through winning 4-2 on penalties, but it doesn't tell the story at all. 0-0 after 120 minutes, and England from start to finish were outfought, essentially, outplayed. It wasn't all completely one way, though. I would argue the best chance of the entire match fell to Rachel Daly, with that header in the second half, which she should have scored, and England probably could have scraped through with that, but Nigeria just seemed like they were the fitter opposition. They wanted it more. England just don't look right. They do not look right. This isn't the England that played at the Euros, and we're just not firing on all cylinders, and I just don't predict England are winning this World Cup now, because that's 3 performances out of the 4 that have been incredibly poor. And England in attack just looked terrible, not threatening enough whatsoever, and just looked toothless going forward. But Nigeria, they did create opportunities. You would argue maybe not enough clear-cut opportunities. Elozi, though, in extra time, arguably should have won the game for Nigeria. It was a terrible, tired finish at that back post with a left foot. That shouldn't even get on target in the end, but she should have finished it. England, of course, were awarded a penalty in the first half, and then it was overturned. I think it was wrong on both ways. I don't think initially it should have been given, but then once it was given, it should not have been overturned, because there was contact and it wasn't clear and obvious to change that opinion. So it should not have been overturned, and I think on the whole you could argue it probably was a penalty because there was a shove in the back, but certainly Nigeria should have had a penalty as well. When Lucy Bronze clumsily ran into the back of their attacker and just knocked her to the floor, and it was a penalty. So you could actually argue that both teams should have been awarded a penalty but didn't get it, so it arguably evened itself out. But Nigeria, of course, hit the bar a couple of times in the match as well. I would argue that neither opportunity was ever really threatening the goal, but there were warning signs throughout, and it just felt like, even though Nigeria weren't exactly creating a huge amount of chances, they just looked the most likely to score, didn't they? But then we had the most stupid piece of play by Lauren James. Talk about hero to zero. Absolutely clueless. What is she doing? Why is she stood on her back? It's a clear red card, and I am now glad for that ridiculous choice that she made in that moment. I am glad that she is no longer going to play a part in this World Cup, because she's let her teammates down, she's let her country down. It's that serious. I mean, it's 0-0, all to play for. The challenge was soft at best. Lauren James had been marked out of the game. She hadn't been involved, been terrible all match, and she decided to take her poor performance out on the Nigerian player, and she deserves every punishment she's going to get from this, and all the bad press. Moments of absolute stupidity like that need calling out, and I'm sorry, professional footballer. Arguably Serena Vyman should have been making substitutions earlier because our players were being ineffective, but there's no excuse for Lauren James to do that. I mean, fair play to Nigeria. Well done to you. I mean, you was as good as England were poor. England just haven't hit the heights that we know they're capable of, and it's hard to understand what's going off, but they just can't perform at any sort of consistency basis. But winning games when you're not playing well is all you need to do in a tournament, and I do not think now England have any chance of winning this World Cup, essentially, even though the draw is favouring them. I think anybody's giving us a game at the minute because we look so poor. Where does this leave England moving forward? Obviously, tomorrow is Colombia versus Jamaica. Whoever wins that will face England in the quarterfinals, and I just can't predict it now. I mean, I can't predict this World Cup now, never mind England. But England have to just perform much better, because we're going to get caught out sooner rather than later, because these performances have been an absolute shambles. Commiserations to Nigeria and Nigerian fans who were fantastic, did their country proud. But that's it for this video. A bittersweet day, definitely. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and I will see you all on my next video.